So are Iron Fist and Luke Cage about to make their triumphant return in Avengers Doomsday? Well, there's a lot of speculation behind this and some set rumors and leaks that seem to indicate that might be happening, but let's not jump to conclusions. We're going to take a couple minutes to talk about the return of two of Marvel's most famous characters, the ups and the downs, and why this may not be what it appears, and it's actually Marvel playing with the scoopers. Now, as many of you know, Avengers Doomsday is now in production, and we are starting to get a lot of pictures and information from the set of the production. Now, Marvel typically runs a pretty tight ship, but over the years, and as these people have gotten better about ferreting out these details, well, we start getting more and more stuff earlier and earlier, and honestly guys, sometimes this spoils the movies or even breaks fan expectations. And this story kind of dives into that a little bit because I think Marvel is finally starting to play the game themselves. Now, over the course of the last week or so, we started to get various set pictures from Avengers Doomsday, and honestly, I like what I see so far. But there was these series of pictures that got everybody talking. Now, two of Marvel's most popular characters that have never technically appeared in Kevin Feige's MCU are Danny Rand and Luke Cage, aka Iron Fist and Power Man. And now we're being teased directly with those two characters. Now, as many of you know, Finn Jones and Mike Colter played those two characters in the Netflix series. And honestly, Mike Colter did a great job with Luke Cage, and fans were pretty mixed with Finn Jones's Iron Fist, although at this point, the nostalgia seems to have fans leaning mostly on the production and not the actor. Now, we also know Kevin Feige was a huge fan of Iron Fist and even wanted to incorporate him into Phase 1 of the MCU, but lost the character to Netflix due to Perlmutter's leadership. He gave him over to Jeff Loeb, and that's why he was never part of the MCU, so when that failed, I'm sure that left, well, quite the bad taste in his mouth. Now, we started to get some set pictures that indicate there's kind of some stuff going on with these two characters, and it comes via Unbox PhD Film. Now, this is a leaker that's new on the scene, well, newish, but in the last couple weeks has been on an absolute tear, and dropped some pretty incredible pictures. Now, what they brought us was a couple of set name pictures, and that's what's got everybody talking. Now, I'm going to go ahead and throw one of them up here, and as you see, the set name is Exterior Interior Iron Fist House 1960s. Now, obviously for me and for many Marvel fans, that got everybody talking about the possibilities that Iron Fist was going to join this film. But then, interestingly enough, Marvel changed it to Exterior Interior Luke Cage House 1960s. Now, reports are indicating these are the same set. So this has a lot of people saying, Now, what Unbox PhD reported was that Marvel actually changed the name of the house from Iron Fist to Luke Cage, and that Marvel is actually putting random names to hide the true occupant of the home, meaning whoever's house that really is, Marvel's trying to keep it secret. Now, we have heard the name James thrown around, and that could mean quite a few different characters, but again, I think this is misdirection from Marvel on purpose. Over the last couple of years, scoopers and insiders have really, well, quite honestly, kind of polluted the expectations for many films. Heck, you can go all the way back to Avengers Endgame, and we pretty much heard every detail of that movie in some form or another over the year leading up to its release. Now, quite often we would hear a plot leak, and one of the three acts would be correct. But if you were paying attention, basically the whole movie was revealed long before it was released. This has caused a lot of problems, and even set expectations and fan anticipation in a way that I think has damaged movies. If you look at Captain America Brave New World, the reports of how large the reshoots were basically got people pretty negative on the film, and I ultimately think it impacted the bottom line. Now, could Iron Fist and Luke Cage be part of this movie? Honestly, a multiverse tale featuring heroes coming together from across the multiverse is a perfect venue to introduce these two characters into the MCU, so it's totally possible. But it seems like at this point, Marvel is finally playing the game directly with the scoopers. Now, what's the end goal here? Well, maybe to make some of these people honestly look bad. I think many fans have kind of reached the end of, well, supporting some of these scoopers, and they're starting to get to the point now where they basically want to be surprised. there is still a market for some of these details, and we try to dance around it as much as we can here, because often these details spoil things about the movie that really should happen in the theater and ruin the viewing experience for many people. So we're going to take this whole story with this huge grain of salt and kind of approach this from the perspective that Marvel is trying to maintain some secrecy, and honestly putting mud in the water to make it harder to see might be a great way to do that. This could be classic misdirection to get fans talking about one thing that's absolutely not happening. There is some danger there in setting false expectations, but if they keep the rotating wheel going round and round like this all the time, the news becomes less valuable, less dependable, and therefore less valued. And I think that's exactly what Marvel is trying to do. Consider the marketing change with Thunderbolts, with the asterisk truly meaning the new Avengers. Well, they pulled the rug out from under people there and kept people surprised. And it sounds like whatever Kevin Feige and crew were doing behind the scenes, that might be finding its way into Avengers Doomsday. I'm still hopeful these two characters find their way into the MCU. It's still totally possible. But this story is just so interesting to me because it shows we're finally getting a response from the studio to, well, this constant spoiling and undermining of the development process. And keep your eyes peeled, because I think this is going to be combined with potential legal action against people that leak true details. This possibly could bring the magic back to the viewing experience. But we're going to have to wait and see. Now, before you take off though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily videos and we want to be your place for all the Marvel and DC news, but we're going to bring it to you truthfully and transparently so you're really in the know.